Yeah baby. Yeah baby. It's me here. Willy the Shake. Mr. Moffat asked me to come back from the dead, so that I could talk to you a little about media literacy today. You know, I may be the greatest playwright in the English language, but I must admit that media culture today is way different than it was 400 years ago when I was still kicking it. Back in the day, media literacy was printed books and pamphlets, as well as handwritten manuscripts. Here's a printed version of my great play, Hamlet. You know, to be or not to be and all that jive. 'Cause it still really cuts me up that they published so many unauthorized versions of my plays that I missed out on some serious coin. Or, what the heck? I made enough to buy one of the biggest houses in Stratford, and I got to cruise around in my fat carriage and say, how do ya like me now, yo? This here, y'all, is a handwritten manuscripts. Preachers and business people, and politicians used these all the time. But, everyday Joes and Janes couldn't write, so they had to memorize just about all of the information they needed. But nowadays, good heavens, you've got TVs, movies, magazines, newspapers, books, comic books, cell phones, the internet, email, bus stations, the tops of taxi cabs. My gosh, everywhere are media messages or friggin' advertisements, telling you what to think, what to believe, what to eat, what to wear, where to pay your bills, where to get your teeth fixed, where to get your glasses, where to take a crap, what to do next Saturday night. Heck, with so much information out there, no wonder Americans are popping antidepressants like candy. In fact, there's so much information out there in the big world, that author Kelly Gallagher notes that more new information has been created in the last 30 years than was created in the previous 5,000 years combined. And that there is more information in a single weekday edition of the New York Times than somebody from my lifetime, in the 1700s, would encounter in their entire life. And this is really big business. According to Bloomberg.com, one of the leading business sites on the web, revenues from the media and entertainment industry reached $443 billion in 2010 and is expected to reach $555 billion by the year 2015. To put that into perspective, let's say that you make $1 million per year. To equal the amount of money made by the media industry last year alone, you would have to work for 443,000 years. That's more time than we have of recorded history. If your industry makes that much freaking money, you bet you're going to be all over that, homie. You feelin' me? Now, an industry that makes close to $500 billion per year is going to have an awful lot of power and say in how the country is run. Whoops. Sorry, dude. David Crotto and William Hoynes, in their book, The Business of Media, point out that in our society, media companies are expected to be more than just a propaganda machine for those in power. We have the expectation that the media industry will try to serve the public good. That is to say that they will give us the information we need to have a strong civil government and healthy society. They point out, though, that because light entertainment is more profitable than valuable, usable information, they tend not to serve the public good. Thus, they fail us all, in that they choose profits over a healthy society. However, there's one aspect of the media industry that is even more disturbing if you think about it. Author Douglas Rushkoff, a professor of media studies at New York University and the New School University in New York, has written for years about the effects of media on society and how media companies and other corporations manipulate us, most of the time without our being aware of it. In his classic book on manipulation, Coercion, Why We Listen to What They Say, Rushkoff points out that while we are in stores, our movements are video recorded, and then analyzed so that shelves and displays can be rearranged to steer us toward more expensive purchases, and that scientists study the influence of colors, sounds, and smells on our buying behaviors. Researchers who do this work call this kind of study atmospherics. Later on in the book, Rushkoff points out that they call all that crap on TV programming, for a very specific reason. The people making television are programming not just their 4 lineups. They're trying to program us. Or, at least they're trying to. And, since they made $443 billion last year, they're doing a pretty damn good job of it, I'd say. Now, you may be asking yourself, why do we have to study this crap? And, that is a great question. To be straight with you guys, a lot of the lead researchers on marketing, atmospherics, consumer behavior and other fields are men and women who are, to be blunt, a hell of a lot smarter than most of the rest of us. These people have graduate degrees from universities like Harvard, Yale, Columbia, Stanford, Chicago, UCLA. The very best schools in the country. Besides that, these corporations have research on buying behavior and the psychology of buying that is older than your grandmama and granddaddy. These guys also have millions and millions of dollars to spend on research to figure out how to trigger your subconscious mind, to make you think you have needs that their products or services can fulfill. So, they manipulate us into making purchases and buying into a view of the world that feeds their greed and their lust for power. And last year, we Americans spent almost $500 billion following their lead. Does their manipulation work? Sure shootin' it does. The point of this unit is to give you guys the critical thinking abilities and mental tools you need to analyze and critically think about media messages. And decide for yourselves whether you want to accept the crap they want to sell you, whether it's a product, service, or idea.